Welcome to passive-aggressive geography, where maple syrup dreams and freedom fries collide. Stay tuned, or don't. But if you don't, we'll assume you're from Florida. Today, we're diving into the icy waters of American states with a secret Canadian crush. Some states are practically humming "O Canada" under their breath, flannel-clad and dreaming of universal healthcare. We've done the research, mostly eating Timbits and staring at maps, to bring you the definitive list. Here are 5 U.S. states that wouldn't mind swapping bald eagles for beavers. Grab your toque and double-double and get ready to question your patriotism. Or don't. Your loss, hoser. First up, Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, endless snowdrifts, and a population that seems to have mastered the art of being both incredibly polite and quietly competitive. If you've ever wondered what it would look like if a state tried to sneak into Canada without anyone noticing, Minnesota is your answer. If this state had a dating profile, it'd list ice fishing, apologizing, and a suspicious love for the metric system. Minnesotans are the only Americans who can convert Fahrenheit to Celsius on the fly, and they'll do it with a smile, right after they apologize for correcting you. Their hobbies include shoveling snow, debating the best kind of hot dish, and making sure everyone's driveway is clear before their own. The accent? Oh yeah, you betcha. It's Canadian with a Midwestern twist. Drop someone in International Falls and they'll ask for a Tim Hortons. The local dialect is a symphony of Opie, Ufda, and Donchano, and if you listen closely, you'll hear echoes of Saskatchewan in every ya. It's the kind of accent that makes you feel instantly at home, even if you're just passing through. Winter isn't a season here, it's a lifestyle. Minnesotans brag about wind chill like it's a badge of honor. When the temperature drops below 0, they don't complain. They just add another layer and keep going. Snow days aren't for staying inside. They're for building snow forts, ice skating on the nearest pond, and seeing who can start their car the fastest. The cold isn't an inconvenience. It's a point of pride. 10,000 lakes? That's just overcompensating for not being Manitoba. But let's be honest, every Minnesotan has a favorite lake, a secret fishing spot, and a story about a walleye that got away. The lakes are more than just water. They're the heart of summer weekends, the backdrop for family reunions, and the reason every Minnesotan owns at least 3 different kinds of bug spray. Hockey is a religion, politeness is a reflex, and flannel is the unofficial uniform. From Pee-wee leagues to high school championships, the state lives and breathes hockey. And when the game's over, everyone heads to the nearest cabin, throws on a flannel, and debates whether the Wild will ever win the cup. It's a culture built on teamwork, resilience, and the belief that there's no such thing as too much plaid. Their community spirit and Lutheran stoicism scream prairie province. Whether it's organizing a potluck, helping a neighbor dig out after a blizzard, or showing up for Sunday service, Minnesotans know how to come together. There's a quiet strength here, a sense of shared purpose that feels more Canadian than American at times. If Minnesota tiptoed across the border, would anyone notice? Canada would just say, "Welcome, want some poutine?" The transition would be seamless. Just swap out the tater-tot hotdish for poutine, and maybe add a few more "es" to the end of every sentence. The border is more of a suggestion than a barrier, and the cultural overlap is impossible to ignore. Minnesota, you're Canada's younger sibling, still in the basement, but ready for the big move. You've got the accent, the attitude, and the wardrobe. All you need now is a passport and a little nudge from your northern neighbors. The family resemblance is uncanny, and everyone's just waiting for you to finally join the party upstairs. Just say the word, and we'll start printing new maps. The ink's ready, the borders are flexible, and the only thing left is for Minnesota to make it official. Until then, we'll keep an eye on the weather, practice our "oh yaws," and wait for the day when the land of 10,000 lakes finally becomes Canada's newest province. Next up, we have Vermont, the artisanal cousin in the family who's always experimenting with small-batch kombucha, hand-knitted sweaters, and a deep, abiding love for all things local and organic. In Vermont, it's not just about what you eat or drink, but how it's made, who made it, and whether the process was sustainable enough to make Mother Nature proud. Walk into any cafe and you'll find kombucha on tap, locally roasted coffee, and a barista who can tell you the name of the chicken that laid your breakfast eggs. But Vermont isn't just about artisanal beverages and farm-to-table everything. This is a state that dreams big, really big. Universal healthcare isn't just a talking point here, it's a rallying cry. You'll see folks gathering at town halls, holding up hand-painted signs and passionately debating how to make healthcare accessible for everyone. It's a place where the idea of taking care of your neighbor isn't just a slogan, it's a way of life. Of course, we can't talk about Vermont without mentioning its most famous export, maple syrup. Vermont proudly claims the title of the U.S. maple syrup capital, and for good reason. The sugar shacks are legendary, and the annual syrup festivals are a rite of passage. But let's be honest, there's a little bit of maple envy when it comes to Quebec, whose syrup output is the stuff of legend. Still, Vermonters hold their own, pouring that golden goodness on everything from pancakes to popcorn. The Vermont aesthetic is unmistakable. Cozy flannel shirts, hand-knit beanies, and a wardrobe that's equal parts practical and stylish. Craft breweries dot the landscape, each one with its own take on hoppy, locally inspired brews. Eco-friendly stores line the main streets, offering everything from zero-waste shampoo bars to reusable beeswax wraps. Honestly, drop a Vermonter in Montreal during autumn and they'd blend right in. Same love for plaid, same appreciation for a good microbrew, and the same commitment to sustainability. And let's not forget the Bernie Sanders effect. The energy here is off the charts. Vermont is the birthplace of progressive politics in America. Whether it's a rally in the park or a spirited debate at the local co-op, you can feel the passion for social justice, economic equality, and making the world a better place. Bernie's spirit is everywhere, inspiring Vermonters to keep pushing for change. In many ways, Vermont is like a living, breathing Canadian policy focus group. Ideas that start here, universal healthcare, renewable energy, community-supported agriculture, often find their way north of the border, or at least spark some friendly competition. Vermonters are always ready to test out the next big thing in progressive policy, and they do it with a sense of community that feels, well, distinctly Canadian. The vibe here is all about community, nature, and a slower pace of life. Vermonters love their green mountains, their community gardens, and their endless hiking trails. There's a deep respect for the land and a belief that everyone should have access to clean air, fresh food, and a welcoming community. It's a chill, community-first attitude that would make any Canadian feel right at home. Imagine Vermont as a Canadian province for a moment. Folk festivals in every town, composting bins on every corner, and polite but passionate debates about the best way to transition to renewable energy. It's a place where people come together to celebrate music, food, and the environment, all while working toward a greener, more inclusive future. Whether it's a lively crowd at a folk festival, neighbors swapping tips on composting, or friends gathered around a table discussing the latest in solar technology, Vermont is always buzzing with ideas and optimism. The conversations are thoughtful, the debates are respectful, and everyone's invited to join in. Vermont, your Canadian soul is showing, and honestly, we love to see it. From your rolling hills to your friendly faces, you're practically an honorary province already. So go ahead and embrace it. Set another place at the table, and we'll bring the extra syrup. After all, there's always room for one more at the Canadian family breakfast. Keep fighting the good fight, Vermont. You're almost there, eh? And if you ever need more maple syrup or a few extra flannels, you know who to call. Welcome to Washington State, a place where the unofficial dress code is Gore-Tex, the coffee is always single origin, and eco-activism isn't just a hobby. It's practically a rite of passage. Here, you'll find people who can debate the merits of pour-over versus French press while simultaneously organizing a climate march. It's a state where the line between daily life and environmental consciousness is so blurred, you might not even notice you've joined a protest until someone hands you a reusable sign. Rain isn't just weather here, it's a lifestyle, a personality trait, and sometimes an excuse for everything from being late to needing another cup of coffee. The drizzle is so constant that locals have dozens of words for rain: mist, showers, sprinkles, downpours, and they all mean you're still going outside. Seattle and Vancouver are basically twins separated by a border. Two cities that share a love for glassy skyscrapers, mountain views, and a deep commitment to recycling. If you squint at a map, you'll see just how close they are, almost like siblings who grew up in different countries, but still share the same taste in music, food, and weather apps. Environmentalism here isn't just a trend, it's a competitive sport. Neighborhoods try to outdo each other with composting rates, and it's not uncommon to see friendly debates over who has the most energy-efficient home. From beach cleanups to tree planting parties, the community spirit is as green as the forests that surround the city. And when it comes to healthcare, the debates always seem to look north for inspiration. Washingtonians are known for their passionate discussions about universal healthcare, often referencing Canada's system as the gold standard. It's almost a local pastime to compare policies and dream of a day when doctor visits don't come with a side of paperwork. Seattle's tech scene is as progressive as its politics. The city is a magnet for innovators, coders, and entrepreneurs who want to change the world, or at least make your coffee order more efficient. Offices buzz with ideas about sustainability, social impact, and the next big app, all fueled by endless cups of locally roasted coffee. And when the laptops close, the outdoor culture takes over. Hiking, skiing, kayaking, if it involves fresh air and a challenge, you'll find Washingtonians there. The mountains and rivers aren't just scenery, they're a second home, a place to recharge and reconnect with nature, rain or shine. If Washington ever drifted into British Columbia, nobody would blink. The two already share a love for coffee, rain, and a certain laid-back, eco-conscious vibe. On any given day, you'll find people in both places sipping lattes, discussing climate policy, and pretending the weather doesn't bother them at all. There's also a shared love for passive-aggressive politeness. Whether it's holding the door a little too long or apologizing for things that aren't your fault, the Pacific Northwest has perfected the art of being nice, sometimes to a fault. The politics, left-leaning, with a strong belief in social safety nets and a government that tries to help, even if it means a little extra paperwork. The government here has a distinctly Canadian flavor, focused on community, support, and making sure everyone gets a fair shot. It's not perfect, but the intention is clear: to build a society where people look out for each other, whether that means healthcare, education, or just a friendly smile on a rainy day. Washington, you really are Canada's cool, caffeinated cousin, the one who shows up to family gatherings with a reusable mug and a new hiking trail recommendation. So keep dreaming of universal healthcare and sipping that fair trade coffee. Maybe one day the border will be just a memory, and the only thing separating Seattle from Vancouver will be whose coffee is stronger. Until then, let the rain keep falling, the coffee keep brewing, and the border slowly dissolve, one polite conversation at a time. Next, Michigan, the mitten-shaped neighbor who shares more than just a border with Canada. Great Lakes, Tim Hortons, and Hockey Michigan's got Canadian DNA all over it. Michiganders look across the water and feel a kinship with Ontario. Lake-effect snow, winter festivals, and a love for practical boots. The Upper Peninsula, basically rural Ontario with better pasties. Detroit is hockey town, but the rivalry with Toronto is a family affair. Michigan's blue-collar spirit and auto industry ties mirror Ontario's. If Michigan asked to join, Canada would just say, "Grab a Labatt and tell us about the Lions." Admit it, Michigan, you're ready for the maple leaf. Finally, Alaska, the wild cousin who shows up with a salmon and a bear story. Alaska's cold is legendary, but Canadians just nod and ask about your block heater. Vast wilderness, moose everywhere, and a respect for nature that's pure Canada. Fiercely independent, Alaskans share a leave-us-alone attitude with Northern Canadians. Alaska is practically married to Yukon and BC. The border's just a technicality. If Alaska joined Canada, the biggest change would be learning the metric system. The Alaska Highway already ties them together. Just add poutine and you're set. Alaska, you're already family. Keep being wild and send some salmon south, eh? There you have it. 5 U.S. states itching to trade eagles for beavers and complicated healthcare for something that actually works. From Minnesota's politeness to Alaska's wild spirit, each state is giving Canada the come-hither look. Maybe they've realized life's sweeter with a toque and a timbit. The cultural overlaps are undeniable, and some accents are already halfway there. If these states ever get tired of the drama, Canada's got snow, manners, and a seat by the campfire. No pressure. But seriously, Alaska, call us. We've got poutine waiting. Until next time, stay frosty and don't apologize. Unless you're secretly Canadian.